I left the United States with nothing but a backpack, a one-way ticket, and a feeling in my chest that something had to change. I didn't know what I was running toward, only what I was running from. Life had become heavy, too heavy. Bills, pressure, noise, expectations. Every day felt like I was squeezing myself into a life that didn't fit anymore. Maybe you felt that too at some point, like you were living someone else's plan and not your own. My destination was the Philippines, a place I had only seen in pictures and travel videos. I didn't know anyone there. I didn't know what life would look like, but I knew I needed a reset, a real one, not a weekend vacation where you return to the same stress. I needed a place where I could breathe again. Little did I know what I would find there would change me forever. The moment the plane doors opened in Manila, warm air rushed in like a welcome I didn't expect. It smelled different, sweet, humid, alive. People moved in every direction, laughing, shouting, carrying bags bigger than themselves, but somehow it didn't feel overwhelming. It felt human. And maybe that was the first shock, how quickly it felt like the world was softening around me. I stepped outside and saw kids selling snacks, taxi drivers waving signs, families embracing returning relatives. Everyone seemed busy, yet no one looked rushed. That surprised me. In the U.S., I was used to seeing people sprint through life as if being still for too long was some kind of failure. I took a bus to a small town outside the city. The streets were packed with jeepneys painted in bright colors, tricycles buzzing like bees, fruit stands spilling mangoes onto wooden tables. And there I was, backpack on, no long-term plan, no safety net. But for the first time in years, I wasn't terrified. I was curious. I booked a tiny room with a fan that clicked all night and a window that overlooked a row of palm trees. It cost less than a cheap dinner in the States. I remember lying on the bed that first night, listening to roosters somewhere in the distance, thinking, maybe this is exactly what I needed. I woke up early the next morning and walked through town. People smiled at me, actual smiles, not quick, polite nods. Strangers said good morning even though they'd never seen me before. A woman selling rice cakes waved me over and handed me one for free. I tried to pay her, but she shook her head and said, "First time here, yes? Welcome." That moment stuck with me. I had arrived with nothing, but somehow I didn't feel empty. As days turned into weeks, I learned something even more surprising. The Philippines runs on community. In the U.S., I often felt alone even when surrounded by people. But here, loneliness was harder to find. Neighbors invited me to eat with them even when they barely had enough for themselves. Kids ran up to me asking where I was from, what my name was, if I wanted to play basketball. Families welcomed me during fiestas like I had always been part of their story. I asked myself something I think many of you should ask too. When was the last time you felt genuinely connected to the people around you? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know. But let me tell you about the moment that truly shocked me. One day, a typhoon warning was announced. The sky turned dark, winds picked up, and rain came down like someone had turned on a faucet full blast. I had never seen anything like it. Power went out, streets flooded, and yet, no one panicked. Neighbors opened their homes to each other. People checked on the elderly first. Families shared candles, food, blankets. I watched groups of men walk through knee-deep water carrying supplies to those who lived in weaker houses. No one waited for permission. No one waited for the government. They just helped. That night, we all gathered in one house. Kids, grandparents, neighbors, me included. While the storm raged outside, inside there was laughter, storytelling, and even singing. Imagine that. A storm strong enough to tear off roofs, and people were still singing. I remember sitting there realizing how rich they were. Not with money, but with something I had never truly understood back home. They had each other. And then another shock hit me. Many of them lived on so little compared to what I came from. Some worked long days for wages that wouldn't even cover a fast food meal in the U.S. Some had houses built from wood and metal sheets, but they had gratitude. They had time for one another. They had joy that didn't rely on things. It made me question everything I thought I needed to be happy. Let me ask you this. What do you think makes a person truly rich? Let me know your answer in the comments. As the months passed, I started rebuilding myself, slowly, calmly. I woke up with the sun instead of an alarm clock. I ate meals cooked by neighbors who insisted I try this, it's our favorite. I watched kids play basketball on cracked courts with broken hoops, but more energy and passion than any arena I'd ever seen. I found simplicity, not forced, not minimalistic for aesthetics, but real, natural simplicity. One of the most powerful things I learned there was patience. Life didn't rush. There was time to breathe, time to talk, time to just exist. People didn't judge you by what you owned, but by how you treated them. And that changed the way I looked at myself. And it wasn't only the people. The Philippines itself feels like a place that heals you slowly. Morning markets with the smell of fresh bread. Beaches that glow when the sun sets. Mountains that look like they're holding the sky. Even the sound of a distant karaoke machine at 11 p.m. becomes comforting after a while. But let me tell you something important. It wasn't paradise every second. There were moments of frustration, confusion, culture shock. But every challenge taught me something. Every uncomfortable moment pushed me to grow. Looking back now, I realize I arrived in the Philippines with nothing. No plan, no job, no clear future. And somehow, I ended up finding everything I didn't know I needed. Not material things, but a new understanding of life. I found humility. I found gratitude. I found community. I found peace. But most of all, I found myself. And maybe that's the real message here. Sometimes you have to let go of everything familiar to discover the parts of yourself you've ignored for too long. Sometimes walking away isn't running from your life. It's running toward the life you were meant to experience. If you've ever felt stuck, or lost, or tired of living the same stressful cycle, ask yourself one question. What would happen if you let yourself start over somewhere new? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Before we continue, if this story has made you think, or if it has inspired something inside you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. It helps the channel grow and lets us bring you more stories like this. And who knows, your share might be the thing that inspires someone else to change their life. Now, here's one last story that sums up everything I learned. Months after arriving, I was walking near a small river when I met an older man fixing a fishing net. He smiled at me and said, "You're far from home." I nodded. "Yes, very far." He asked, "Why did you come here?" I thought for a moment and said, "I guess I was looking for something." He laughed softly and said, "You don't find life. You feel it." I didn't understand at first, but later, it clicked. Back home, life was something I chased. Goals, money, status, achievements. But in the Philippines, life was something I experienced moment by moment. I realized that peace wasn't a reward, it was a choice. Joy wasn't something you earned, it was something you allowed. And home wasn't a place you were born in, it was any place you felt alive. So I'll leave you with this. Where do you feel most alive? Tell me in the comments, I genuinely want to know. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who might need a reminder that life can change in the most unexpected places. Thank you for watching, and wherever you are in the world, I hope you find your own version of what I found in the Philippines.